point. They have 5 players still up, and they are just surrounding the point. Amon's brought back into the fight now. They're at a full 6 with a loose late young. They're to a biotic orb from the Moira. It's got to be Jinmu going big here, and the EMP was well timed. 1 kill with the barrage, but it was Bumper to go down, which is not usually an issue for the Titans.
Well, the issue for the Hunters is when you're only running the solo tank, you know, when you lose that tank, you can't really push onto the point. And Amon doesn't want to go in when he doesn't have his shield available. So then, you know, the Wrecking Ball can be very easy to eliminate, so.
Graviton Surge for Solminsu. That's going to be important. Leon on the DB here, so there is still something to sort of counter out you know, the biotic orbs from Twilight if they can be eaten.
How do you use this though? Because they're so spread out, the Hunters. You usually look for one of those big grabs. Maybe try and connect a player or two. Yeah.
Just get aim on with it, lock him up in the grab, and be done with it. Solminsu notes Late Young's positioning outside of the point. Very frustrating. They're constantly being flanked. Twilight's gone down already. Amon deals with him right at the start of the fight. Solminsu though is charged up, and the damage is there. Bumper dealing with Late Young, and Evil Tal already going down, so the Chengdu Hunters now are severely limited on their healing capacity. But Jinmu's there with 2! Oh, come on! Now Amon's just going to rotate back to the point. Jinmu has essentially air superiority. Janu has to challenge him out, and he does so. Has to give up his mech in order to do that, then he wants to refresh the mech. So he goes for a self-destruct in a position that's not going to necessarily guarantee him a kill, but Amon's back. He's already trying to deal with Twilight now, the EMP being used over onto the point. This is a Chengdu Hunters game if I've ever seen one. Sound barrier now for the Titans. Oh, Lei Young knocked down. Bumper gets the Earth Shatter, and Jinmu nothing doing with that barrage after Bumper fell. Most of it got mitigated. Still the 1 kill though, and Janu had to give up his mech in order to do so. 93% on the clock for the Vancouver Titans, and they're getting all that closer, but Armin goes in there. Twilight falls. Axel, hard to say if he was hacked, and then Armin's going to try and drop the ball down. And there it is, the Hunters just take control.
And if Axel doesn't get hacked, they may actually continue to fight that. He probably would have considered popping the rally. But when he gets hacked, you don't have the use of that ultimate, and that's when they decide to back out. And the rally, the only thing available right now for the Vancouver Titans. Late Young with a self-destruct on the table here. Amon with the mine.
Oh, Amon, gotta be careful. He can get himself back up, or can he? Yes, he has the momentum. Centripetal Force, ladies and gentlemen, does wonderful things. Self-destruct set up there by Late Young. He goes down and is not able to get anything for it. Amon able to back away with the adaptive shield, though. And the Titans are back on the point. The Hunters have to act now. They bring Lei Young back, who'll be in his mech in just a moment. Oh, just Amon was brought to a complete stop for the EMP. That's going to yield some results. And Chengdu gets himself 3. That's what it looks like to get worked in the neutral by an absolute giga chat. Beautiful take back. And Hunters stay in the fight. Still in overtime here, but Haksar will be dealt with. And yeah, Johnny not far behind.
Elsa connects with the big EMP, but it's the rocket barrage that helps clean everybody off of the point. It's Solminsu with the grab. Like we mentioned last time, when you see a composition like the Hunters, it's not like the 3-3 where you have to stack up and be together to, you know, get a lot of value out of it. You almost want to say really spread out. So how do you get value out of the Graviton Surge here?
Yo, Jinmu's out there like a telemarketer knocking on the door. Vancouver don't need no health insurance. They barely die. Just Bumper, really, and the rest of the team covers for him. Graviton Surge, Coalescence, Self-Destruct are all available. Sly him down early, though. The Hunters playing aggressively. The Titans have to fight for every inch.
Because Vancouver doesn't know who to target. You can see every time we go on one of their POVs in the first person, they're just looking everywhere as they get Jinmu really low. They use some of the Coalescence to put him away as well.
He lingers a little bit too low. The reverse Icarus once again. Minefield dropped down by Amon. He's going to get away with the adaptive shield. Bumper was bubbled for most of that by Isaiah, so he's protected from the damage. I mean, Amon's trying to really just be a vanguard defense here, but Bumper comes in with that Earth Shatter. Elsa couldn't get much done on the Sombra there. And now with the sound barrier, the Titans are nice and topped up. Evil Tal's going to be struggling to get out of that situation. Did well to get himself out with the Guardian Angel, but Haxal's there, gets himself 2. Another attempt at the barrage by Jimmy, but not nearly as successful this time around. And Amon eventually gets ground out. Elsa will step onto the point, try and keep it contested. But only Solminsu and Bumper were hacked there, and there's no one else from the Hunters to keep it going. It's an exciting brand of Overwatch, I'll give you that.
The Hunters do 12,000 more damage there on the first point.
What?
Then compared to the Titans, 32k to 20k. The Vancouver with the 3 supports, right? Providing a ton of healing. The Moira comes into play. 19,000 healing to 9,000. It's unreal the amount of damage.
Absurd. Well, I guess that explains why the Titans still win the round whilst 12k more damage.
But, I mean, you don't come through with all that sustain, right? I mean, that's why you see them run the 3 supports with the 3 tanks. Keep everybody topped up. It looks like the Hunters here at the beginning. This is their version. So, as we mentioned, no Winston playtime for the Chengdu Hunters. This is their version of that. They're going to play him on the Wrecking Ball, as he always does.
We'll see how this one works out. There are weaknesses and strengths for Amon being on this Wrecking Ball right now. Displacement is definitely a strength here. Pile Driver is something that is available to him far more often than a Winston would have a Primal Rage, for example. Trading shots early on here. Do note the Ana for Twilight. Johnny on the charge in there. Amon gets himself behind, but he ignores Twilight. He wants something else. Evil Tail's already been taken down, though. Lucio missing. Chengdu don't have the ability to disengage now. They have to commit.
I mean, when Amun goes into engage, they just back out. I mean, they just go right underneath him once he goes in with a slam, and Vancouver just pushes straight on through. It's a fairly easy first fight there for the Vancouver Titans. Twilight playing the Ana there. You know, threw a nade in deep, kind of backed up the rest of his team as they dove on in.
And the Titans will be gearing up here. A win in this map, by the way, for the Titans will actually clinch the Pacific Division for them. They'll be uncontestable at the top, so they're definitely going to be firing on all cylinders for that one. Rally for Huxal here. And now they're going to take the fight inside. Okay. Solminsu, quick double there. We're just the one right click, and that's a fight already done. Bumper! Well, it's not like him falling off the map is any cause for concern or any reason to pause the game. This is actually pretty standard, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, he goes over the side all the time. But Solminsu ends up picking up those 2 eliminations there. When you try and push into that close quarter area against Azaria, who's that charged, it's not ideal. You're going to provide him a ton of ult charge. He's going to be able to just pick up kills, just launching in those secondary fires, you know, those right clicks for you PC players at home. And
Jinmu's like, yo,
a ton of damage.
I can't pick Pharah. Hey, why am I playing this other hero?
Trying to switch. Yeah. It's just not working.
Not happy. So what do you think about the Wrecking Ball in this 3-3?
Look,
do you have a take? Hot or not?
I think Wrecking Ball is a hero who, as I think the year goes on, is going to get a ton more play. So we get back into the game. Bumper able.
Oh, he wasn't on. Sorry, he was on the side of the cliff. Forgive us.
I do think Wrecking Ball is going to get a ton more play. I think in a composition like this, I think you can make this work. I think it's way more riskier than playing a Winston. So I feel like there's not as many of a... No, Winston, you go in a little bit too deep, right? You have the big bubble to put down, blocks a ton of damage, you have Primal Rage to get out. Not much like, once you use the grapple, there's not much else you can do there.
Bumper's going to be the recipient of the nano boost this time. Twilight putting all his faith in the Simian Sentinel. Well, the Graviton surge. Bumper had to step out of it, though, because of the minefield dropped down by Amon. Jin released with a rally here, so the players getting topped up. The Hunters haven't really controlled the point yet this round. Something they need to start working on. Transcendence and Self-Destruct all at the same time, and it heals the kill of Haxal. But both teams go for the sound barrier simultaneously.
And they step up just the point enough for the Hunters to be able to take it. So the Hunters now control the point.
Now Chengdu are happy with a long fight. They're going to stretch it out as long as they have to. Kyo goes over the edge, though. Amon just trying to break line of sight, picks up the Mega Health back, and he's just swinging around like a tether ball. Bumper dropping down there, Late Young actually catching up to him there. Graviton surge by Sovinsu. This actually could be fairly nasty. This follow-up here, Huxal can swing his mace through this one. Jinmu down, another minefield from Amon. He's got plenty of them, but he gets slime. That's not what you want at all. Amon will get taken down here, though. Make no mistakes.
It's those situations where you would have liked, like, maybe if you had a Winston in that scenario, right? You can pop Primal Rage. You probably don't get the 1 kill, right? But you'd be able to stall this out a little bit longer, give your team more percentage on the overall point. Late Young with the grab. Needs to be a good one here. No support ults online for Vancouver.
Double up by the grenade there onto Late Young and Jinmu. Bumper into the follow-up here. Amon was essentially on his own. He was trying to find Twilight by the looks of things, but he's unsure of where to put himself currently back across the point. Trying to zone for his team, but Bumper once again gets the nano boost. And he's giving them a shocking reception. Late Young's Graviton is eaten all up, and now the Hunters are out of options. 99% for the Vancouver Titans, and the Hunters, they've been wiped from the face of Ilios. And it's your first map going over to the Vancouver Titans, and with that, they secure their spot as top dogs in the Pacific Division.
And I think the grab is just a little bit too light. It gets eaten up by Janu and the defense matrix. But still, you know, before your 2 supports drop, you probably should have just got the grab off. We'll be back with more from this series after the break.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
the pre-show? Huh? Sit down. Oh, you're probably already sitting down, so stand up and then sit back down again.
Never heard somebody get so angry at Captain Black.
I'm not angry.
Ryan Stat.
I'm not angry. Definitely not angry.
Sounded incredibly angry.
Unrustled.
Double sniper here set up. For the Hunters can play a lot on the high ground.
See if they can make it work. Somin Su's down early in the fight. We don't see that often at all from the Vancouver Titans. And Bumper falling as well. Elsa has been an absolute terror on this Diva so far.
And they use the nano boost on the Bumper to try and get him up to the high ground. Take out one of the snipers, but Megan Jack just grapples away. Then you have Elsa get right up in Bumper's face. They're able to pick up that kill. So let's see. It's going to be hard, though, I think, Mitch, for the Hunters to play this choke. You don't have like a Rhine shield to play behind. You don't have a lot of things to protect the players that are going to be playing here. As Janu actually switches off of Diva. He'll play Wrecking Ball himself.
Well, Amon trying to get some skadoosh of his own for the Pandas. Doesn't quite work out. He's repelled by Twilight. But Janu, oh, this is great. I'm loving it. Vancouver Titans, they're slowly being corrupted by this element of rascality that the Hunters always, sort of flash around like a badge of honor.
The Hunters see this every day. They know how to play against Wrecking Ball. They're not...
Remember, Janu, it's a jungle out there, bro. Dragon Strike from Jinmu as he drops down. Twilight is already taken care of now. Yes, Vancouver. The problem is that Chengdu were born into this. They were molded by this craziness. They didn't see a normal game of 3-3 until they were already adults.
The Hunters are doing a fantastic job peeling for the snipers. Bumper keeps diving in deep, trying to make a play for one of the snipers up on the high ground, whether it's Bacon Jack or Jinmu. And there's always the peel there from Elsa, Eviltal there to heal everybody up. Really nice here from the Hunters.
Looks like someone just patted Johnny on the shoulder and said, look, we're going to go back to basics here. Nano boost on Bumper. His Discordant took a lot of damage early on. Bacon Jack still at a safe distance here, and Bumper coming back with rather empty pockets. Janu's very low, and Elsa's thinking about following up. Amon on top of that little awning there. Somin Su was bubbled, so he doesn't get knocked up at all, and Jinmu's down. Bumper finally finds a target. Self-destruct thrown in. Elsa doesn't find much. Huxel was there with the shield, but Jinmu's now been brought back into the fray. When Huxel going down, the snipers are doing work. Bacon Jack with 2. Side of eggs with that? No, we'll just take the kills.
And I think it's very difficult when you're playing the main tank against this type of composition, because Bumper, when you see double sniper as a Winston, you're like, okay, I need to dive the double sniper. I need to make space. But when you have Eamon playing the Wrecking Ball, just going behind enemy lines, landing these slams, putting down the minefields, you have to have some type of peel there. And Wrecking Ball just does so much damage.
1 minute and 7 seconds. This style of play is throwing the Titans for a loop. They need to come up with an answer, and so far it involves gravitoming Amon. Kyo's not able to keep him alive there with the Transcendence. I will say that's quite a large investment in order to keep just the Hamtaro alive.
And they use it to keep Amon alive, and he actually gets hit with a biotic grenade, and there's no healing there as well.
Yep. Twilight, huge counter to this composition in terms of dealing with Transcendence. Bumper, he's just swatting flies for the time being. Oh, he's slow. As he came out of that Primal Rage, he looked pretty vulnerable. Now Dragon Strike across the payload. This will force the Titans out of position. They can't approach quite yet until the Dragon goes away. Now there's a minefield in their way. Bacon Jack finally goes down to Bumper on that high ground, and Johnny needs to take a break. 22 seconds left. This wild ride is giving the Vancouver Titans some travel sickness, Matt.
Bumper still trying to make a play here for the high ground. Is self-destruct gets thrown up there by Janu, just trying to clear some out, get a new mech back.
I mean, Jimmy's in a great spot right now.
Card is still rolling as well.
Bumper has to deal with this. Johnny might be the one to step up and deal with this sweater. It's a trade, though. Twilight is down. Big part of Vancouver's healing is missing. Ana is supposed to be a heavy lifter in that particular regard. In overtime now, Janu's mech. It's gone. There's an Armor drop down, another pile driver, and a Dragon Strike that doesn't quite clip the payload in the way that Jimmy would have liked. Still, Janu's missing. Amon just has to keep himself on the payload, try and stay around for as long as he can. Bacon Jack is back up to his safe little perch, but he's going to be chased down by Bumper, who does not want to give him Rain of the Skies. But Elsa right now is control the payload. Slime has to step up, takes damage, gets a repair pack, goes back inside the saloon. Going for a cold pipe perhaps, but there's still Overwatch to be played. Bumper gets together, another nano boost, but he actually combines that with his own Primal Rage, and a great Transcendence from Kyo to prevent the Hunters from being taken down by that grab. Huxel now trying to dance up on the payload. He's down to low, and Slime is trying to keep him alive right next to him. It's not going to work out. Jinmu finally falls on the higher ground. The Titans are working their butts off to try and deal with these snipers, but Slime falls. They're running out of supports and healing in general. Bumper steps forward, but he's so low. It's self-destruct now with Janu trying to step up, should I say. Sominsu is the final hope for the Vancouver Titans. Everything being pinned on him, but it ain't enough. struggle is really, Vancouver.
It's just, can the Hunters now put together an offense? The defense looks strong there. A lot of the sniper play giving Vancouver troubles. We'll find out in a sec.
I just got off the phone with Chief. He said this is it, right here. This is it. The Chengdu Hunters.
Oh man, don't waste all your time
Able
for this
to-
one. Man. It's only stage one.
I got plenty more where that came from. Luckily, if you're here, there's always going to be a joke. Chengdu Hunters with a very solid defense. Even though they played so aggressively, you know. I mean, do they replicate that on the attack? I wonder how the Titans slowed them down. Okay, didn't sit down. I mean, you're about the same height as when you're sitting, but I gotta go all day, bro. It's Sunday afternoon and I'm here for it.
Is it the afternoon? This whole time travel thing's got me messed
It's
up.
1 hour back and forth thing, yeah.
All right, so we're gonna have a pretty strong like dive composition here from the Hunters. So you have like Sombra and Tracer in play. Jinmu on the far, just gonna be prepping down players from range, just putting down some damage. It's on a lot of these more dive squishier heroes, burst heroes to finish those players off.
Bacon Jack, how does he find a way in here? He doesn't have to worry about if he was Sombra being revealed. That's something that Elsa has to deal with. He's just trying to find a way through the front line, and again, they carve Bumper off from the rest of the Vancouver Titans, and now, it's a ball game indeed. Jano was hacked up there for a brief moment. Amon just dropping in there with a pile driver, knocking a few people up and forcing the Titans to play on his high ground. But Huxel, he's been denied that height advantage. He's going to run away.
You have a player hacked on the point. It's Janu, so you don't have the ability to have that defense matrix eat up some of these rockets. You see the players for Vancouver, they have to spread out. A lot of them are getting low.
Oh, Twilight had to quickly bite a grenade himself there to keep himself alive. Janu wasn't able to stop this barrage, and Jinmu gets there. Johnny's mech went down to that pulse bomb, dropped in by Bacon Jack. Chengdu looking pretty stylish right now. I got the players. They just need to finish off these kills. There's still plenty of healing. Bumper needs some, though.
But where's the pressure on the point, though? That has been the issue with the comms here for the Hunters, is that they're not able to stay on the point for a very long time. Big EMP there.
2.5 ticks. I think they're going to get there. Solminsu on the high ground. I think you almost see the way he was playing there, resigned himself to the fact that he'd lost the point. Chengdu will take 8.
Yeah, it's that EMP from Elsa there at the end. Connects with 4 players from the Vancouver Titans. Swings it in the Hunters' favor. So the Hunters with an opportunity to take the map. You can see, by the golden no parking box, there's also the golden box of victory there. So the Hunters can get the payload to the box. They'll take map number 2, which I think would be a bit of a surprise.
Seeing some more different stuff from the Vancouver Titans. This time it's not Janu on Wrecking Ball, although he's about to get demech'd as he got hacked up. Oh man, it's Solminsu on the Sombra. The Titans are scrambling. They're searching for options, map, but they haven't found an answer just yet. Jinmu, I love the use of the Transcendence in there, but Bacon Jack gets himself a double with the Pulse Bomb. What is this? Is this 2018? Chengdu Hunters absolutely dominant now as they push through this Westworld phase, and they're not far away, Matt.
I mean, look,
The final
they
checkpoint.
do use some ultimates there, though, right? I mean, you don't really have anything right now getting close to Valkyrie. So you can take a look at the Pulse Bomb from Bacon Jack. Hits one, connects with two.
Huxel may have shield bashed towards Twilight there to avoid something else. That's nasty. Want to see the payload still moving here. The Titans are still trying to form ranks, let alone fight. Bumper's forced to drop a bubble down mad early, and now he has to jump out. So he's not doing any engaging right now. That's so nasty.
But the difference with this comp here for the Hunters is that when Jinmu does get Bumper low, there's the follow-up from Bacon Jack's Tracer to be able to get in there and finish these kills off.
Bacon Jack again, still running right on this Tracer. Slime, unlikely he'll really get away. Jinmu finishes the job. Amon does get hacked up briefly by Sominsu, who's very close to an EMP, but it has to happen now. And I mean, right now. 4 meters to go. That's the EMP. 4 players affected on Chengdu, but they don't seem to really be too bothered. Twilight gets meleeed by Amon. Oh, Chengdu just got rolled over the top of there. And Bacon Jack still in a safe spot on the payload. Bumper comes in. Bumper on Tracer, no less, to try and stop this deluge. Welcome to the jungle, Vancouver.
Axel takes his headset off right away. Like, I don't know how to deal with that.
All
the damage comes through from the Hunters. You know, Vancouver takes map number 1, 2 points to 0, but it was a little bit of a back and forth game. It's really fun to see the Hunters tie this up going into the half.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Toyota, official North American partner of the Overwatch League. Toyota, let's go places. This was going to be a 4-0, but we got a good one to close out the week. The Hunters are trying to pull off the upset. They're even with the Titans coming into halftime. Welcome back into the Blizzard Arena. As always, we've got Zoe, we've got Brennan, we've got our awesome audience who's been with us all day long. You guys still alive? Still loving this show? Awesome. Game number 1. I thought we were going to see it. I thought Chengdu was going to somehow beat Vancouver in control. We saw some awesome Pharah play. We saw Among always running around in his wrecking ball. But Vancouver just stuck to their guns. They went in with their normal strategy, and they were able to control the point. What were you seeing, Brent?
Yeah, so initially with this game, I was a little bit focused on the one player in particular, Bumper as well, but I noticed as well as it was transitioning, Sominsu was actually taking the cake a lot of the
Zarya player.
His Zarya play, yeah, exactly. And that was really the stellar play for me, at least. But as well as it went later into the series, Twilight as well, Zoe, that you was a player that you pointed out in particular that played particularly well.
Yeah, no, Twilight really popped off. Within the first 3 minutes of the round, he hit 5 sleep darts. Like, what? How is that even possible? Like, I hit one if I'm lucky. And he played against not just a diva, but also a very disruptive Amon. There we go.
Yeah, there we go.
We got there eventually. So, like, the amount of sleep darts Twilight is actually allowed to hit is insane. And you would think that they will actually do something about it.
He didn't mean that.
No, that was on purpose, 100%. That was not an accident. Yeah, so Twilight really, really impressed me in the first round.
And I think if you are listening to the commentators also, how many times you heard Bio Grenade, those Ononades coming in, stopping the healing, were huge game changers, especially comboed with those Zarya grabs.
Very impressive, though, the fact that he's managing to hit that, despite the fact that they were running a diva player. Normally, diva, she uses a defense matrix, she eats up the Bionades, eats up the sleep darts, completely negates them, but that wasn't the case. Twilight's still finding the openings, which is really impressive.
Now, speaking of Twilight, he kept things going into the second game. You saw on the way into halftime, not only did he sleep a Bob, he also shut down a tire as it was Vancouver on the attack. But let's take a look at some of the people that were causing problems for Vancouver when Chengdu took game number 2. We saw some subs coming in, and Bacon Jack showed off the Ashe.
Yeah, they were in double sniper, and honestly, Titans had no clue how to deal with this. Remember on the desk when I was all like, they're not going to be surprised by that kind of shenanigans? Well, guess what? They weren't surprised, but they certainly didn't know how to counter it. They stuck to the 3-3 composition and just didn't get anything done.
It just seems so weird to watch Vancouver Titans play this out, because this has been such a long-standing team. This has been a roster for many years, honestly. There's been a decent core. They've been through every iteration of Overwatch that you can imagine.
They've seen every meta possible.
Exactly. So they should be used to this. Double sniper is a well-known strategy. Teams used to play it on Volsky Industries all the time in the Overwatch League in 2018. So they should be used to this as well. They should know how to play around it. But we didn't see the switches. I wanted to see the Haxel Genji. I wanted to see them switch to dive. I wanted to see them break away from the triple tank, triple support for once. But they seem locked onto that one composition because they've had so much success with it. And it's to the, they need to opt into the Clown Fiesta at the end of the day. That's literally what they need to do.
So you're suggesting now to opt in.
We usually suggest against it, but no, you can't play 3-3 into that.
All right, Brent, final question before we leave halftime here. You mentioned it that we've seen Vancouver back in the runaway days playing everything. For Dive, for anyone who's new on the stream, what is the ideal composition you want to see from Vancouver diving in the second half?
So we know Somin Su, he can play the Sombra. We know that Haxel can play the Genji. We know that they've got reasonable, they got Bumper on the Winston. They've got the Diva player in Janu. The rest of them, Twilight Slime, they can play the rest of the support, Zen and Lucio. I want to see some classic dive coming out from them, honestly. I think, like I said before, you opt into the Clown Fiesta. You go full all the way. You just got to try and beat fire with fire at the end of the day when it comes to playing Chengdu.
You ready for a fiesta?
Oh, yeah, I'm so ready for this.
We got some clowns in the box. They're going to pop out. Game 3 is on the way. When we come back, don't go anywhere. This is the Overwatch League.
They don't just play for a team. They play for every fan, every rival, every moment, every match. And when everyone watching expects the best, they perform with the best.
what a fun match this has been so far. The Vancouver Titans just got absolutely rocked on Hollywood. It seems like they were just in complete disarray, partly, I'm sure, because of what Chengdu were bringing, this aggressive double sniper.
They did not really know how to counter the double sniper. A lot of those clips are showing at halftime. They have players on the ground. They're looking up. They got the Diva flanking on one side. They Tracer in the other half's coming from another. They didn't seem to really have any answer. And the Hunters aren't switching their playstyle. We know that.
So do you agree with Brent that they should opt into this, as he put it, Cloud Fiesta, and try and play dive? Or surely there's a reason why triple tank, triple support is the strongest.
Yeah, I think you can play the triple tank, triple support, the Winston version of it. I don't think you can play the Reinhardt version.
Gotcha.
I think players are just too spread out for you to play Reinhardt. And I think it'll be telling when they're on the defense here on Anubis what they come out with. They cannot come out with Reinhardt probably. Because you would assume all the damage dealers come out from the Hunters. It'd be very difficult to deal with them in that open space.
Yeah, I feel like that would not be opting into the Clown Fiesta as it was put at halftime. Vancouver will defend first. So, yeah, we're not shocked to see Bumper play Winston here.
Yeah.
Again, Vancouver needs some flexibility, right? They, like Matt was saying, if they play a Reinhardt-based composition, Chengdu will be able to surround them, pincer them, and just throw damage in them from all these different angles. Jinmu can get up pretty much untouched unless, there's going to be Janu there to pester him. So at least Bumper has the ability to try and take someone like Kyo or Eviltal or Armon down.
It's just what do the rest of the Hunters play? Do you see them play like Sombra Tracer? Do they play, looks like we'll see Wrecking Ball Diva, Sombra, Pharah with an Ana in play.
So this is what we call a 2-2-2, 2 supports, 2 tanks, loosely speaking, and 2 damage dealers. Chengdu Hunters originally will be sending Amon up the left-hand side. Now, Bumper will be waiting. He will be waiting. Jumps down. And Jimmy now is doing a little bit of early scouting here.
I like what this does, though, against Vancouver. It forces Bumper to commit to something. And then at that point, the Hunters are the reactionary team, right? Where a lot of the times in the 3-3, Bumper's able to make a play. He's got the rest of the team following up. This time he does. Really nice sleep here as Bumper's down on the ground.
Yeah, we'll see if Chengdu can actually capitalize on that. No, they wake Bumper up, but he just gets given a bubble from Sominsu pretty much straight away. Slime is down, though. So Jinmu finally comes up with a result, and the Titans do not have mercy. They cannot resurrect Slime. They have to play at a player disadvantage now, whilst the Hunters just search and acquire their next target.
Yeah, we'll see if Amon can get to the high ground here. Gonna go with the pile driver down, put down some damage.
Jinmu also trying to work in concert with the pile driver from Amon. Like, oh my god, everyone's so clumped together. You can see Jano is instrumental to prevent that splash damage from being critical. But Sominsu is now down. Another player missing for the Vancouver Titans. And I guess a little trickle turns into a torrent. With Haksal now being out of the picture. Bumper already seems to be jumping away up to the high ground at least. And Janu's not going to even try.
Sominsu gets the Graviton Surge, but like we were mentioning earlier, when you see the Graviton Surge against 3-3, it's pretty easy to connect with the big one and kind of grasp when you should and shouldn't use it because everybody's grouped together. In this, you have players all over the place, so you don't want to waste that ultimate.
Remember, at the start of this broadcast, we asked, is this a trap game for Vancouver? Is this where they stumble? Nice little bubble thrown over the top there from Bumper just to make sure Kyo couldn't be healing up Elsa or Amon as they were grabbed in there. And so the Titans can get themselves a breathing room at least.
He did connect with a biotic grenade, so they would have gotten some increased healing there, but the bubble comes down, not able to provide anything after that. So now we see a triple support. Okay, so this is like an odd variation of like the Sombra Goats composition where you're running Wrecking Ball Diva instead of like Winston Diva or Rein Zarya. Usually you'd have like Rein Zarya. And then you have an Ana in play with a Lucio and a Brig.
Amon there. Drops a minefield. There's an EMP available for Bacon Jack now. Kyo needs to be careful. He seemed to be caught in front of Bumper. Sleep him. He'll try to. Self-destruct in the back right corner. Sominsu and Twilight are able to emerge from the debris unscathed. But there's a lot more work to be done on the point itself. Almost one tick for Chengdu here. Amon, okay, give him the nano boost. Why not? He's just chilling on the point right now. The Titans maybe not aware. They had to give up a tick. No one paying attention to Amon until he's had almost half of the capture progress done. Looks like Chengdu are satisfied with that, and he'll roll on out.
Yeah, but it's a lot invested from the Hunters, so they'll switch off of Ana now, go to Zen.
To the right.
Okay, so they're going to play the traditional version of the triple tank, triple support.
This is not unheard of.
We saw them play a little bit of it, yeah.
And they often do it in these exact situations. When they're on the attacking side, when The Wrecking Ball setup doesn't really yield much. So let's see now how they fare playing the Titans game.
Anubis point B is pretty hard to make the Wrecking Ball work. Point A, I think it's great. A lot of areas you can just fly off into the sky as Elsa does get demech'd here, so that should stop any type of push. It'll be the Graviton Surge that comes through.
Oh, wow, okay.
All right.
Jinmu gets himself
3.
2. Amon with 1. It's unlikely that's going to be really enough here.
No.
Chengdu need like a very one-sided teamfight victory to really capture the point here. I mean, look, Brigitte sometimes she's just swinging the mace. She could be hitting any number of things at once.
So I think your goal here for the Hunters is to come into the next fight, use Rally to engage, try and get Bacon Jack, some charge, get him closer towards that Graviton Surge. And then when you rally, try and have them use either Sound Barrier or Transcendence. Either of those ultimates you'd like to see out. After that, the fight starts going your way, cool, throw some more ultimates in, but as long as you get that type of trade here and build up some more of your own, you're in a decent spot. That is not good.
Nope, Amon just completely burnt down by Solminsu, and he gets himself yet another one, which is excellent, because he's looking for a Graviton Surge for the next fight.
But this is he's going to have 2 before we see Bacon Jack get 1.
Yeah. I mean, we know that Chengdu maybe aren't as comfortable playing this style, but the map has forced them to do this, right? The architecture, the setup of Temple of Anubis has forced Chengdu away from playing the style they want to do. Now, this is what happens. This is what happens when your hero pool, your preferred composition is subject to the kind of map you're playing. And the Titans right now, they've got to be breathing a sigh of relief. Finally, they say, we can actually play our game, the game we're used to. And Chengdu now have to have a taste of their own medicine.
Oh, I mean, this is a sigh of relief here for the Titans as Bumper opens things up with a Shatter.
Doesn't connect it though. Graviton Surge being thrown straight into the mix, and Solminsu is charged up, ready to rumble. Sound Barrier here now coming out, but Amon's Earth Shatter seems to have been blocked now, and the Transcendence is going to give the Titans plenty of steam to run on to the rest of this fight. Amon's shield dangerously close to being broken, and Bumper, he is very deep in the backline here. He takes down Jinmu, but Kia was able to deal with him. Graviton Surge now coming out from Chengdu. Amon down, self-destruct in. Will it catch anyone? It catches Slime. Solminsu looked like he was maybe trying to LOS that one or protect Slime from being blown up, but now the Hunters have the start.
I just don't know if you have enough to be able to swing the point in your favor, because Vancouver is going to have an advantage in terms of spawn. So you see Solminsu and Johnny up on the point. Slime coming back.
Solminsu's going to play safe here, Transcendence. It's going to be the Hunters trying to force him back. A quick repair pack, give it over to him. And right in the corner, Solminsu, is that an uncharacteristic grab whiff? He gets nothing for it. The Titans really needed that ultimate to actually start to break the pressure the Hunters are applying, but they're going to have to rely on something else now. Elsa up to the high ground. Sound Barrier now for the Chengdu Hunters. 6 players getting topped up. They're very durable, but Evil Tile still goes down to the self-destruct of Janu. And the Vancouver Titans turn over a fight win here when it looked like they'd be struggling. 78.8%.
Yeah, you did get the second tick for the Hunters, and you have that 78% to play with. 1:30 on the clock, though, as Bacon Jack does a nice job building up that Graviton Surge, gets good use of it. He's going to get close to another one in this fight. You have Transcendence online here, or Twilight, so you may want to rally here if you're the Hunters on the engage. Maybe try and Shatter, get them to use Transcendence, because that's the only ultimate they have. Wait till the Transcendence burns out towards the end, then use your Graviton Surge.
Keep an eye on where Twilight is playing here. Right at the back there, making sure it doesn't get caught by this grab or this Shatter.
So here's Rally. Let's see if they go for the Shatter.
Oh,
Bumper
Amon knocked out of the way. Yeah, there's a couple knockdowns on the backside there, but the returning Shatter wasn't half bad either. Bacon Jack's grabs, though. Johnny just eats that one up and continues to be one of the most prolific eaters of ultimates with that Demon Defense Matrix. Amon goes down, charged to the wall. Solminsu's grab gets eaten. One grab he whiffs, the other one gets eaten up by Elsa. He can't be happy about that at all. Bumper now, Transcendence, keep him alive, and he can keep swinging for the fence now. He tried to go for the Shatter, but it was knocked up. It took longer for that hammer to come down. Still, in lieu of the Reinhardt being able to be effective, the rest of the Titans are holding on.
That
20
was their
seconds
chance,
left.
though. That was their chance, though, Mitch. If Bacon Jack connects with that Graviton Surge, Amon actually connected with Twilight with his Shatter, so he's down on the ground. No opportunity for the Transcendence at that time, but it gets eaten up by John, who's so good at denying those Graviton Surges, and you may not even get a touch here if you're the Hunters. It's going to be very close.
Fire strike out from Bumper. He'd love another Earth Shatter. We won't have one for a while. Look how low Armin is. Bacon Jack also low. Graviton Surge to catch Jinmu, wrap him up and send him home. Evil Tal attempting to keep something going here on the spot, but the Titans now, no, they've started to hit their groove here on Temple of Anubis. This is their game.
So they're not able to complete the attack there. The Hunters get very close to taking point A and point B. 95% getting point B. We'll see if the Titans can complete the map.
Out of the bamboo plantation into the desert, things don't look nearly as rosy for the Chengdu Hunters. Our insider, Emily Tank, spoke with them sort of over the break, and they sort of said to her, we want to play 3-3, we want to play triple tank, triple support, but we realize our strengths just do not lie in that direction right now. We're trying to align ourselves with a play style that really highlights those strengths.
I tell you what, that's awesome though, because we've seen so many teams in the past fail to realize that their strength is not what the meta is, and not try and come up with something that works for them. Just play what everybody else is playing and end up losing some games. So
that's it. Blazing your own trail, Matt, is something I don't have an issue with. I appreciate it. And for Chengdu, it yields results. Don't ask me how or why. And they just do. There you go. That's insane. Jinmu, 25% of
here's what we wanted to see. This is what Bren was talking about at halftime. So this would be very interesting if you ran.
Is this the treehouse defense?
You ran. Okay, yeah. This is the old school kind of defense. Haxall playing Genji here. So you're gonna have Winston, Diva, Genji with a Brig, and a Lucio and a Zen. I don't know how much value you get out of the Brigitte here, because you have to be very close, with the Inspire to get a lot of procs. A lot of these players are going to be going in certain directions, like not really close to the rest of the team.
We'll keep you updated on Haxall's movements. But there you go. Bumper walks into the anti-dive setup that the Chengdu Hunters are playing.
I think you may want... I mean, the only reason they probably want the Brigitte here is, for the extra armor a little bit later when the rally comes through. And then maybe for the insta-burst heal that you can get with the repair pack, because there's no other way to keep Bumper really topped up when he's going in for a lot of that damage.
Unless you hit a nade, but if Bumper is on the other side of that shield of Amon's, it's not going to work. This defensive composition from the Chengdu Hunters is something we saw last year. It really focuses on a lot of damage to tanks and the fact that Bacon Jack can play safe. Amon is so important here.
But look, I love that view when we get from the top down, because you see the dive that comes in onto the Orisa in... You see the Brigitte, the Summon Su in Twilight have to go the opposite way. And there's not really, nobody's going to dive Twilight or Summon Su. You get a big kill there on the Jinmu.
Junkrat, probably one of the more vulnerable heroes on this lineup, and Slime doubles down. He's able to finish off 2 of those eliminations, and Bumper takes a brief pit stop, grabs himself a mega health pack, but that's enough of a window for Jinmu to be resurrected. That was set up by Elsa's self-destruct. It's zoned and created space, so this could happen. This is a big Riptide, and there's a lot behind it. Looks like Jinmu's going to have to settle for just getting Janu's back, and it's a Dragon Blade from Haxall. Oh, I've been waiting to say that for so long. He gets himself Bacon Jack. So the dive component of the Vancouver Titans seems to be working, but there's still stuff to be done. Haxall finishes off Kyo there. There was no way Zenyatta was going to escape. And now this man is out for some murder.
And that's where towards the end here, the Brigitte does come into play when you can get onto the point and force this battle. You're able to take it. So the Dragon Blade, after the Transcendence used by the Hunters, helps open things up. So now you'll see Jinmu play Brigitte here. So you use the Brigitte to counter.
Man, look at these support
diving
ults.
heroes.
This is a huge disparity between these two teams. Vancouver have everything they need. Sound Barrier, Transcendence. Chengdu have neither.
Going with the Reinhardt Diva Genji combination here. So now you switch to Reinhardt. When you have the 3 support ultimates, so much sustain, he'll be able to get a shatter out of this fight.
Now, Haxal, his job here is a little bit tricky. Jinmu can shield bash him pretty easily if he's not careful, but Jinmu had his back turned, and also the Discord Orb, self-destruct thrown in. Transcendence there being used, and the Titans are going through all their support ults. They are fully committing to winning the fight here and now and taking the map. Haxal is close to a Dragon Blade. Elsa desuited. He's ready to rumble in just a moment. Transcendence comes out from Chengdu, so Haxal holds the blade for the time being. Great shielding there from Bumper, but it's not enough to save Somitsu. Oh no! We're in the Brigitte era. Haxal goes in for the blade, immediately shield bash, sent back to spawn with his tail between his legs.
That is why you don't see Genji play that much when you see Brigitte on the other side.
Oh yeah, Haxal's like, oh, okay, I'll take that source.
I think this is where Vancouver, they realize they have an opportunity when the Hunters switch off of the composition that they're the best at, right? And they go over to the Reinhardt version of the 3-3. This is the type of game that Vancouver wants.
Twilight has another Transcendence almost already, by the way, that's frightening. See, Kyo's still a ways away from his. It's the grab from Bacon Jack that'll be important here. So Twilight best have that Transcendence or it's not going to work out for the Titans here. All right, he gets it very quickly as one. Look at Amon. He's a little bit out of position. He turns his back and the Shatter connects. Jinmu's knocked down. Now the Graviton Surge is in there. Slime was on the outside of Bumper's shield and there's nothing the main tank from Vancouver could do to keep his Lucio alive. Elsa's mech, though, being taken down. That's huge, and Twilight fans around him think they're somewhere. Elsa taken down. No chance to get back in the mech. And a self-destruct over the top, and there was no way to interrupt Amon, no way to make him drop his shield. Sound Barrier now for the Chengdu Hunters, and the Titans are running out of steam here. Bumper, Struggle City, he's out of there.
Vancouver does get a tick, though. And Amon with another shatter connects there onto Twilight. So no Discord opportunity there on the point. Once the Hunter's Transcendence dwindles away, 3 big ultimates though coming online here for Vancouver. 4 really looking at it as you'll have Sound Barrier, Transcendence, Graviton Surge, in Earth Shatter in this fight. Going up just, it's going to be Elsa's self-destruct.
Now, this will be a true test of Chengdu's ability to play this triple tank, triple support.
You eat this Graviton Surge though.
You're laughing all the way to the bank.
Maybe you can try and force them into the choke here, get the self-destruct into the choke, and then with a pin. They're going to let them go a little bit far, though.
Shut up, that was quite a sizable one there. Kyo and Ivatal are both knocked to the ground here. Now the Graviton Surge, that was a defensive self-destruct laid down by the Hunters, and it's traded out. Amon eventually goes down. Bumper, the only one lost for the Titans so far, and a Transcendence for Chengdu. It's a little bit underwhelming. They're also going to use a rally, but they're only down to 3 right now, and it's just the supports. Not a lot of heavy hitting power there. Discord on Ivatal, he's gotten the heck out of there. And Elsa now cops the full brunt of the Titans' focus. Earth Shatter attempt here from Amon. Doesn't really work out. Maybe Janu was caught up on that one, and the Graviton Surge thrown in. Where's the damage? That's the question. Janu, self-destruct. Pillar blocking most of that damage coming through, and Bumper switched to Wrecking Ball here. Another tick has been gained for the Vancouver Titans, but Bumper going down, the Titans have to get out, and this is starting to go sour for Vancouver.
I tell you what, Mitch, the Hunters, they dodged a bullet there. I thought that was it, but they're trying to use Transcendence to keep Bacon Jack up because he has grabbed the Transcendence from Kyo, just comes out a little bit too late. They're not able to keep him up, but it's a good Graviton Surge coming off the spawn there from Bacon Jack. There's now some ultimates here online for the Hunters. You have the Transcendence to get through this big Graviton Surge.
So Minsu right now, 25% of his team's damage. That's a quarter. It's a lot, numerically speaking. I think he wants to grab. He's hoping about it. Maybe just try and bait Elsa's defense matrix out. He's going to be the Transcendence, though. The grab set up. Both teams going for the Transcendence. Both teams going for the rally. Knockdown on Twilight. So Minsu in the backside. But the Sound Barrier was there. Vancouver able to stave up that initial damage. Bumper goes down. Not much to write home about, though, based on how these teams play. And Amon was traded. Now with Haxal going down, the Hunters are playing very well together in these late fight breakdown scenarios. So Minsu's going to get caught here. And there's 40 seconds left for the Titans.
And Bacon Jack's going to have another grab. Oh, and they're going to stagger Twilight. They get the kill on a Twilight.
This is huge for Chengdu.
And they're doing it playing a traditional 3-3 composition against Vancouver, which you didn't think they could come in here and play at this level. This is not the type of playstyle they want to play. They're playing Vancouver's game, and they're playing them close.
Yeah, this is supposed to be Vancouver's wheelhouse. Their bread and butter. Let's see if they can break through. All they need to do is capture the point. One fight will decide this map. Bacon Jack grabbing right in the corner there. Who's going to catch? Self-destruct thrown in by Elsa. That's going to hurt. Oh, it doesn't matter. The rest of the Titans have already been taken down, and now we're in overtime. Oh, it's so rough for the Titans. They're trying to gain some progress, but immediately grabbed up against the pillar. That's map number 3 for Chengdu, and they are on the precipice of taking this series away. The first team potentially to upset the Titans here in stage 1. You're crazy if you even think about going anywhere else right now. It's going to be one of the biggest matches of this season, and it's all happening on the other side of these messages.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
Perhaps realization starting to dawn on a few of the faces here from the Chengdu Hunters. Going down and having already lost 3 series will make it a little bit tricky for them to get in the playoffs, especially with a map differential that is less than stellar. But to take a match here is a huge stake.
And I go back to it again. In a stage in which the meta is clearly not in their favor. For them to leave this stage at like, let's say, 3 and 4, 4 and 3, be massive. I mean, if you can get above 500 coming down to the stage for the Hunters, you would be extremely happy going into stage 2 and potentially even the stage 1 playoffs. Nobody wants to play against them because they're just so weird. You can't get any practice against their style. And then I think the biggest curveball is that they come in and then they play like all the crazy stuff they do. And then they go and play 3-3. And their 3-3 didn't look that bad there, where they've kind of said where it's not their strength.
There have been many teams that have been absolutely flattened by Vancouver's 3-3.
Yeah.
They seem to hold their own pretty well. It seems as if Vancouver are rushing. They were always rushing on that last map, but never quite where they needed to be. Now, Route 66 offers an opportunity for both teams to take a breath, reset a little bit, but you better believe that Chengdu will be playing something wacky.
How does Vancouver respond? I think that's kind of like the story of this series. They tried with like the triple support with like Brigitte, Lucio, Zen with a Genji and the Winston and the Diva. What do you go with here?
If they had, let's just say theoretically, if they had subbed in Stitch to play hit scan, just down Jimmy's Farah, I wouldn't have been upset.
No.
I wouldn't have been down about that. But Solminsu,
but he's
entirely solid.
He's
in
so
his own
good
right,
on Zarya that you want him in the game for that Zarya play, because if they do go back and play that traditional 3-3, Solminsu's like one of the best Zaryas in the league.
I think
you don't want them on the bench.
It's less want. You need him.
Yeah.
In this roster. Jinmu sees McCree, says, I ain't about that life. Perhaps Hanzo switch for him? It wouldn't shock me. at this stage. We
Play
definitely don't-
Bastion. Oh, yeah!
Oh, man,
my God.
you got your bait.
Dude, well, because I called it before he switched it, and then he switched it, but then he switched it back. That's not fair.
Yeah, he got you, to be fair.
All right,
So,
I'm
Hunter.
all on the Vancouver train now.
So Elsa on the Tracer, not Bacon Jack. Obviously, he has shown some fantastic Widow play for us already. What do the Titans do about this? Solomon Sue McCree is going to be at a distinct disadvantage playing head-to-head against Bacon Jack. He just can't really peek the Widow, but they caught Kyo out there with a flashbang, presumably, or a shield bash, either one. Evil Tile, respect the Peacemaker, bruv.
And I mean, you're playing the solo healing Mercy here. Is you're running quad DPS, so 4 damage dealers here.
And to be honest with you, Widowmaker and Hanzo aren't necessarily self-sufficient in terms of healing. They don't have their own form of heal. Tracer conditionally does, as far as recall's concerned, but there's no way Bacon Jack's getting out of here. Oh, he tries to repel, he hits the roof. Bringing around the Rosie, Janu. He doesn't find that amusing at all. Okay, Chengdu, not getting much done here.
This has not been good.
This has been not good. Evil Tile, don't do it. Don't do it, you madman! Oh, the flash. A party pooper.
All right, so we're going to see the Hunters go over and play traditional 3-3 based around the Reinhardt. So triple support, triple tank here. So now maybe you can take advantage, right? Big Brigitte McCree, the composition that you see the Titans running. It is still decently strong, though, against triple tank, triple support. So they're not at a huge disadvantage here, the Titans.
Surprised not to see any Wrecking Ball play. I mean, we've seen Amon be able to shut down McCree pretty comfortably with the mobility that Wrecking Ball has. Here's Deadeye. Nothing.
Bumper way too deep again.
Yeah, just caught out there. Perhaps while he was trying to back away, the Deadeye might have put the fear of... I'm not sure why there. Would have thought that Chengdu would have backed up a little bit with that Deadeye in play, but they wanted to push forward. And now we have switches very quickly. Now, do they get there in time to contest? It looks like they won't. They got a couple players here. They can touch. They can touch. But again, I mean, Janu's going to get taken out immediately. Okay, so straight to the self-destruct just to remech, create some space. That's a great way to give the Titans a chance to get into this fight. Bumper! Nowhere Shadow for you, my friend. He gets stunned out of it. Transcendence now, and the Titans have to go forward. They need to find some kills here. But after the support ultimates are done, they found nothing. Then they got Graviton, Transcendence coming out from Chengdu Hunters. They look so good when they get to play their game, but now switching over to 3-3, they're looking just as strong.
I actually think Vancouver is genuinely surprised with how Chengdu has played this 3-3. I don't think they were expecting them to come in and play it this well. And Vancouver just playing a little bit, Bumper getting up in front. I don't think he expected them to swing when the Deadeye was active. Usually you put the shield up, but they were actually swinging on him, putting down some damage.
Complete trust in Elsa to use defense matrix to negate that Deadeye damage. It's risky as heck.
Vancouver does not look as crisp, though, as they've looked in the last few series.
I guarantee they got rattled after those first 2 maps of play. It's got to be exhausting, taxing on a team that's not used to playing that kind of chaos. Here's a Graviton anyway. Solomon lands this one. Evil Tile's in trouble in the back there. Bumper! Just gets caught out by that one.
Yeah, he was shattered on the ground, so the shatter comes in from Amon, and the self-destruct goes down right away. And
the Titans try and take initiative, right? They try and set up this grab, and still...
Twilight dies with trance.
Amon is able to shut down. Oh, my lord.
There's going to be more space here for the Hunters. So Bacon Jack's going to have this grab. You can use it up at the high ground here where you see his position and throw it into this choke. That's usually the choke we see all the teams come out of. Trying to get out of the spawn.
Johnny was not in mech right now. Okay, back in mech. There we go. Yeah. Just wondering how long that would take. Yeah, I could throw a grab in here. It'd be at risk of Johnny winning that up.
He's got to hit it like off the pole, potentially.
Bacon Jack keeping tabs on Johnny's positioning here. He's discorded right now. Oh, nice little whip out of the way. Slime. Excellent job. Slowing the Vancouver Titans down. Bumper. We'll pretend we didn't see that. He's fine. He didn't want to charge anyway.
And, in a map right now that looked like potentially, right, if the Hunters win that fight, things start to spiral in their favor. Very good time on, to get point A and then have some time here left to take point B. Slime makes a big play right there. Displacement, using the Lucio boot to knock the Hunters out of position. Give Vancouver an easy fight.
Titans have a bit to work with now. A little bit of a misstep from Chengdu in that previous fight. Slime instrumental in setting up favorable ground in general. Oh my gosh, so many people on the high ground here for the Titans. Johnny needs to be careful. He actually uses Huxale Shield there for a while to stave Bacon Jack off. He's doing his best to pressure down that superstar diva player. Jano again, still trying to fire in that defense matrix, but wasn't able to eat up that Graviton Surge. Jano with a self-destruct now. There was an attempt for Bumper to set up a combo with the Shatter, should I say, but it was blocked out. Bumper knocked down once more. Self-destruct on the point. Bumper, oh, he's in trouble. Slime goes down. Bumper was knocked across the face. Could only really shield himself there. And the Chengdu Hunters, they will march on. Still got fight in him.
And Amon's been using these counter shatters time and time again when they get stuck in the Graviton Surge. That time the grab comes down from Summon Su and they use the counter shatter, knock down 2 players. It helps him just stay alive through that ultimate. They use the sound barrier as well. Provide the extra shields, but taking the first 2 points here is the Hunters.
And with 2 minutes on the clock, that's actually quite a decent amount of time to be working with. Like, they're not going to be upset with that, especially after getting snarled up a little bit a couple times in the last stage. So this rotation from Vancouver forces Chengdu to fight them. They'll keep the payload contested and it won't move if they don't. Vancouver wanted this. They're going to bring the sound barrier in pretty much straight away. Note that Jinmu gets caught out by the fire strike there, and this is exactly how the Titans drew it up. Chengdu, unprepared for that engagement. Vancouver liberally applying the sound barrier to get themselves into the mix.
Yeah, the Hunters did not expect the engage to come from the Titans from that position. You see it there on your screen.
Bumper.
They know.
Where's your team, bro? Oh, there they are. They've arrived. Bumper charging out. No, he leaves Slime for dead. Oh, so sad. Bumper also going down. He didn't get away either. And the Hunters this time, like you said, they were prepared.
Oh, they checked it that time. You're only going to be able to get away with that how many times over the course of the season, right? There was something also when I was talking with like Reinhardt players in the league, like, you know, we've mentioned it a few times, but they kind of know the style of the opposing Reinhardt and how to play. Amon hasn't played much Reinhardt. You don't have a lot of like, you don't know when he's going to shatter or use some of these ults.
No, there's not a lot of data. That's a great point.
Yeah.
Transcendence there is on the top of the truck. Good response there, but Twilight was still able to find Bacon Jack despite that. So you never feel good as a team who defends from a grab, uses Transcendence and still loses a player and hence the fight. It's not necessarily a wasted ult. It had to be used there. Fortunately, not enough healing.
20 seconds left. Grab, self-destruct, shatter. We'll see if they can connect to this big combo. Vancouver, if this fight kind of lingers on a little bit like they do with this type of composition, probably ends up with all 3 support ultimates during it.
Chengdu have to dig deep right now and find the answer. Shatter from both Reinhardt, suffice to say, Amon gets a better end of that deal, forcing Twilight to use that Transcendence, but now Chengdu to save theirs for the Graviton Surge. Self-destruct, it doesn't matter. Bumper wasn't alive to even set up a combo for Vancouver, and Chengdu could get to keep moving. Quickly the Titans back away into spawn, and there will be one more fight, a full fight for the Titans to try and stave the Hunters off, but they're hungry, blood's in the water, and they're after it. Here's the Graviton Surge, self-destruct goes up straight away. Not much protection for Kyo there, he gets taken down. Amon's actually put to sleep right now, and that's tough. Twilight hits a huge sleep dart at such an important time. The Hunters fail to finish Route 66, but they get pretty darn close.
I mean, the big difference for me, Bumper with those Earth Shatters. 0 Earth Shatter kills, so no follow-up with those shatters. Amon gets 8 kills off of his Earth Shatters. Big difference there for the Hunters. So they have played a very strong series from start to finish today.
Matt, we're seeing more depth from this roster.
Yeah.
I think, despite how exciting their play was, a lot of pundits would definitely have said this team seems a little bit one-dimensional. It seemed like they're unable to shift off this composition. Clearly, they've been workshopping their triple tank, triple support. It's been looking pretty good from here. Here's something. We'll have a look at this one in a second. It's quite interesting. Here's Vancouver's map record on Escort. So, well, in general, but also on Escort.
I mean, a lot of these series are decided before we get to Escort, right? With how great they are in maps 1, 2, and 3 in terms of the game modes in our overall series. It's this final game mode that they struggled in this part. But, we've had a lot of wild games on Rialto, right?
Rialto, especially, is a map that can produce some outliers in terms of data points. The map can be quite swingy. Snowbally, if you want to use that term.
I kind of like the Soldier 76 here on D.
Explain it.
If you're going to run a lot of these damage-dealing heroes, at least Soldier, I know when you're talking about when they were running like the Hanzo Widowmaker, like they can get away, but there's no really kind of self-sustain like Elsa can have on Sombra, hacking the health packs and getting the health from them, and Bacon Jack using his recall. 76 can put down that little healing station.
Aren't there so many shields? Surely, like, Kyo has trouble with all these barriers and defense matrices.
It's just you're trying to put down consistent damage on the shield.
Just pressure, right?
D.Va. Yeah, get D.Va to use defense matrix, and then maybe with some of the hacks that could come down here from Elsa, you're able to put down some free damage.
Bacon Jack will have to be very careful because the sheriff's on Hearn. Simon Sue will be on that McCree, and a flashbang could really solve things very quickly. Amon goes down awfully fast.
And I would say if your flex support is going to play as well, we don't really see a lot of flex supports play McCree. We do see flex supports pick up like a hit scan damage dealer. It's usually we see 76.
You have to say, Brigitte Lucio as a healer combo is interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe only because there's a biotic field available for Kyo. I'm not really sure. Vancouver actually may be anticipating a switch here. Very clever. They were right.
I love how it's wild coming into this. It's like if I would have told you at the beginning of the series that the Hunters would go back to the spawn to switch to Reinhardt 3-3 to play it against Vancouver, you would have called me crazy.
Yeah, so far, that is where you really see the growth of a team. When we talked about depth, Chengdu definitely have a little bit more. They're going to need it against a team of this caliber. Finishing the series will be no easy task. Twilight close to a transcendence here, as you can see. You can see where he's got that orb of Discord as well. Oh, Bacon Jack. Oh, took so much damage to Twilight there. The burst healing. Okay, Jinru does give him a repair pack, but Twilight pushes forward. He's yelling at his team, go, go, go. Zai is at half health. And Bumper gets to do what he loves. Swing for the fence.
And I think this one was, it was just going to end up happening with how the first fight went. And then some ultimates online there for the Titans. They're able to use Transcendence, push on through. I think this next fight will be much tougher. This is when you start to see the ultimates come online for the Hunters.
Now think back to Hollywood. This part of Hollywood, that second phase, they all are kind of similar in some way or another. This is where Chengdu were playing a deeply disruptive style of Overwatch, using a lot of the Trace of the Farah, the Wrecking Ball. Now, not so much. They're playing far more restrained here, and they're mirroring the compositions. Let's see if it works out for them. Wasn't too bad on defense on the Temple of Anubis, that's for sure. Bacon Jack trying to keep track of this fight from the high ground, but look at him, 0 charge. He is barely tickling the Titans in terms of damage. Oh, the block was there. Amon, beautiful shatter. Starting stuff, it was almost like Johnny had to lay out a defensive self-destruct to make sure his team weren't run over the top of it. Still, the Chengdu Hunters take a breath, then go forward. Bumper just got absolutely dominated in the shatter off, if that ever existed.
It's been all map long. I mean, 9 kills off of Amon's shatters, 0 off of Bumpers. And every time we see the shatter come down from Amon, it's like 2-3 players.
I guess he can play more than just Wrecking Ball. Now, this is so aggressive from the Hunters. They have high ground. The Titans have opted to sort of rotate through the low ground.
This is wild. You don't see this.
Amon needs a little bit of backup here. I mean, I kind of get it, really. Chengdu, they just go back to the spawn.
They're going to chase them through the choke.
That could be risky. If the Titans turn on the Hunters right, oh, they're confused.
Yeah.
Hunters take the other side, and now the payload's actually getting away from them. It's going to be a mad goose chase to try and catch up to them. Rally here, coming out from the Titans. They were ready for the fight all along. They wanted the Hunters to stand and deliver, and this has gone horribly wrong. Now for Chengdu. Elsa, what's he looking for? Twilight. He's trying to get rid of the Zenyatta, but he only gets so far, then Twilight shuts him on down. Elsa still in pilot D.Va form, is trying to do some damage, but no, that didn't work out for Chengdu.
That's why you don't see that. Because they push out on top of the big girls, they go right around them. They go through the chokes, and what are you going to do? I mean, they use the rally. They're standing there in the choke. They have the advantageous position there as now someone's going to be able to set up on the high ground, land these big grabs.
Just wait for Elsa to head across. He can just grab this one. There it is. Grab on the payload. And yeah, self-destruct to follow it up. That was the shatter. Oh. It's beautiful. Janu there. We haven't seen much of that in this particular series from him, but once the setup is available, the Titans, don't know how to knock down the pins.
No, I don't want to say it's easy, but it's easier to get a team like Vancouver to like the breaking point, right, of like losing a series. It's very difficult to close teams like this out. So,
yeah, that map 5 is looking more and more likely now, Matt. The Hunters looking like they're not exactly controlling the pace of the game. The Titans feeling a little bit more comfortable here. Graviton Surge, is there a setup for Elsa's self-destruct? Somewhat. It's enough to catch out Solminsu. Transcendence for the Titans already playing with 4. They don't have a Zaya or Lucio currently. Still, Jinmu was lost as the Hunters try and chase and stagger kills, so now Amon might be in a bit of trouble.
They want to get aggressive because there's no big burst heal there for the Reinhardt. Is Elsa gets weak, forced to back up. That one kill on a Jinmu's huge. It buys so much space here for Vancouver.
Vancouver now sat proudly atop the payload. Still so much time in the bank. 2 minutes and 55 seconds. That is an extremely large amount of time for any attacking team to have at this stage of the map. Things do tend to slow down a little bit more here. There's a shatter. Bumper connects with Amon, at least gets rid of him. Or at least knocks him on his rear end. It's the Transcendence from the Hunters actually just keeping going. Twilight going down. Amon somehow getting access to the Zenyatta in the back line. I've seen everything now. I'm going to sound barrier on the Titans. You'd think they go forward, but Amon is just wrecking them. Bumper goes down, and the Titans get kicked out. This may not be over.
I don't even think they expected this much level of aggression from the Hunters. Pushing them back to their spawn any chance they can get. Now Bacon Jack with the Graviton Surge. So you got grabs on both sides. Twilight will have Transcendence. You just saw Transcendence used for the Hunters. You're going to have to land like a big Lucio sound barrier onto everybody. Or maybe we see a counter shatter out of this grab again.
The Titans have the setup. Bumper will need to land a charge, though, probably to set up the Graviton and Bomb combo. Slime, if possible, but if Chonky use Graviton, then Bumper won't be able to set it up. Oh, Bacon Jack's grab got eaten. Amon take it down already. And now this fight's an absolute wash.
And now you hold on to your own grab to potentially lock them in the spawn here. So the Titans looking to finish this with some time remaining.
Oh, that's not the way you want to go. Stuck in spawn, inside a grab. Let's see if Elsa can run up. They just throw the grab in there. Here's a self-destruct. The two mechs grinding together. There's a sound barrier from the Hunters. They do have just enough time to get out to the payload. They're making the most of it. Slime goes down.
How they make it out?
Thought they had it, but Bumper is missing, and they're going to chase them all the way through. 1 minute, 20 seconds remain, and the Titans, the ace up their sleeve, has gone.
And the Hunters, they all go out of the same door. They may have not thought that they had a Graviton Surge on the other side, but usually you want one player to go to the opposite side to potentially get to the cart. They barely make it.
But if they went from opposite doors, only half of them might have actually gotten that sound barrier that allowed them to get onto the payload. It's more of a what-if scenario.
Yeah.
But yes, the Chengdu Hunters definitely played themselves into that situation. They had the correct
Bacon Jack's
responses,
gonna
though.
have a grab here as well.
Bumper getting low, really trying to control that high ground so the Titans can rotate down and they get Jinmu. It's not over yet, but it's a huge pick to be getting. There goes Bumper. He's down. Main tank missing for the Vancouver Titans. Twilight knows he has to bring the Transcendence now into play, and Bacon Jack respecting the healing. Stepping back. Amon, huge shatter. Gets 3, but there's not enough damage to back it up. And now it's the Evil Tail and Elsa on the payload. Jinmu's going to run on out there, but he's going to be facing the music all on his lonesome. And the Titans just clinch that map number 4. And you know it. There's no better way to finish an incredible week of Overwatch than by going to one more map.
And the Titans, they barely make it. 28 seconds between the Hunters and a victory in this series, but Vancouver too strong. We're going to game 5.
Stripey Pink and Call Me Betsy. We're going to map 5 in this series. I think that's exactly what we could have asked for at the start of the day. Let's talk Route 66. We've seen this depth come out from the Chengdu Hunters. I think we're seeing them play now this triple tank, triple support setup. Looking pretty good.
It looks
it
good,
was real close at the end.
And I mean, the Rhine battle is really close between Bumper and Amon. I think a lot of people, they expected Bumper to probably come in here, just win this when it was Reinhardt, head-to-head.
Sure.
That has not been the case, especially there on Route 66. And I think this kind of throws you for a loop, though, if you're Vancouver going into the final map. Like, well, are they going to come out running, the Reinhardt 3-3? Are they going to come out running all their damage dealers? You have no clue.
All of a sudden, they now have more options than Vancouver themselves in terms of their team compositions. And I think a lot of people before this game said, oh, look, if there's any world in which Chengdu try and match this triple tank, triple support, they're going to lose out in a huge way. And this is kind of our assumption coming into a lot of these games. When any team goes up, against the Titans, we saw how the Eternal fared against the Titans. They were touted as a real hard in the paint 3-3 style team. Here's your head-to-head. Amon and Bumper. What a fun matchup.
And I mean, you see the damage going over towards Bumper, but final blows go over to Amon. Look at the Earth Shatter stuns 30 compared to 16. More Fire Strike kills there for Bumper, less deaths, but very close in terms of the Reinhardt matchup, which you didn't expect.
It's worth noting that both of these players have been rather opportunistic in trying to set up these Earth Shatter stuns. No longer can Brigitte just stun an enemy Reinhardt through his shield and set up like a free shatter for your own Reinhardt. Now you just kind of have to go for it when the enemy Reinhardt either isn't shielding or shielding in your direction. And Amon completely dominated, especially on Route 66. We saw he definitely came out on top in a huge amount of those head-to-head matchups.
I think this final map is it's incredibly difficult to predict. I mean, we saw, I guess, Vancouver, their closest game against the Charge, right?
Yep.
And they played the same type of stuff. I'm surprised you haven't seen more teams try and play different looks against. Well, I believe the Shock tried it as well, I believe, in their series when they played them. I think, like on Busan.
We've seen some 2-2 variations from a few teams as well. We've seen like teams that like get Honor in there.
But nothing like really like damage dealer heavy like this, like the one that they ran on Hollywood, right?
No,
like
the only team doing that was Hangzhou Spark in week 1. And then since then, they've been playing far more tanks, far more support. So they've even gone away from that style. We've got a substitution now for our final map. And an interesting one at that. No surprise, Lei Young is back in. This means Bacon Jack back to the bench.
Tell you what though, Bacon Jack, they played really strong with him in. They win 2 maps. They end up dropping Route 66, very close to taking the series with him in.
I mean, we saw awesome stuff from him. The Widowmaker, the Tracer play on Hollywood, just so disruptive. And then, Bacon Jack goes over to the Zarya, does a great job on that as well. It's going to be frustrating for the Chengdu Hunters if they don't manage to get across the line here. They've worked very hard to put themselves within striking distance of the top team in the Pacific Division.
I would say, if anything, though, they've proved to themselves that they can play 3-3 against other teams. If you can play it here against Vancouver and play it well, you can probably do it against a lot of other teams in the league, which I think makes them even harder to game plan for, because now you're just kind of worried about them like running around playing all these damage dealers. Now, like time and time again, you have to worry about, are they going to run all the damage dealers? Are they going to run 3-3? You don't really have any idea anymore.
And I think the other side to the argument, and something that probably emerge over the next few days, is we take a real close look at this matchup. Are the Titans playing up to their normal standard? Not only are the Chengdu Hunters maybe overperforming, are their opponents just not the Titans that they had been prior? That's a question we'll have answered, and I encourage you all to make up your own conclusions.
Yeah, but as we go into the playoffs, though, you don't want a lot of this footage out, right? Where, you're struggling against certain types of compositions, right? Because the playoffs is when you'll see a team just throw something in like this from the Hunters, and maybe they practice it over weeks. You've never seen them run it before. It catches you off guard. They steal a map. Could be the end of a series.
All right, we're already into the action here on the pool. Bumper barely getting away. I think Amon was almost hoping to try and steal up that mega health pack for himself. Chengdu, though, pushing up. You can see the battle line has been drawn very close to the Vancouver Titans side of the map. Getting briefly body blocked there was Amon. I think he couldn't get out and was facing down 3 players worth of damage. Nice little adjustment there from the Titans to box in the Wrecking Ball.
Just a little bit too aggressive there. Not enough sustain to keep himself alive. Get out. You do start to build up. Source some ultimates here, though, if you're the Hunters. You're getting very close to your grab. You're going to have Minefield here, too.
Great way to zone control this point. This is Sanctum, so there isn't a heck of a lot of space to stand out on the point while still being able to contest it. That was a rally from the Titans, but they haven't truly engaged yet. Bumper's waiting for something. Oh no, he's going to get caught in Minefield. He gets out without taking a lot of that damage, but now the Graviton comes in. Twilight is going to bring the Transcendence, but it's not enough healing to keep Slime alive. In the final moments, he gets taken down. In the back is Amon. He probably drops here as well, but with Bumper going, that's a good exchange for Chengdu. This is a transaction they'll make any day of the week.
Yeah, Lei Young grabs them off the point, so even when they use the Transcendence, they're not able to keep everybody alive, and the point goes over. to the Hunters. Hunters will come back. They'll have their own rally again as Jinmu is built up to their ultimate for the second time.
Look at how they play off the point here. They still want to contest this very important part of the map.
Big grab.
Self-destruct going in there as well. Who's going to protect them from it? The Reinhardt means, well, it's hard to stay alive. Late Young goes down to that self-destruct. Elsa, Elsa! That's what I call a reciprocation. Both sides are down. Lei Young will be back to the fight a little bit earlier, but the point's being contested now. Bumper drops in. It's a sound barrier. So now he wants to get aggressive, but you got to admit, there's a Jimmy pretty brave to stand out to Bumper in that case. Stuns him up, and now the sound barrier overshield has actually decayed away from him. Yeah, aiming, looking for another minefield inside. Probably not inside the room. Probably moves out to the point to make that one happen, but there's a body block on Bumper. Amon gets his revenge.
And they knew they had won the fight, so you didn't end up blowing the minefield ultimate.
Oh, yeah, well,
now he uses it.
I use it anyway. Chasing down some of these kills. Again, reducing Somin Su's time alive would be huge. Oh, no, wait! How do you get away with that? Surely not. Okay. Right. Twilight catches him. Amon had no business being there and staying alive.
The Discord makes a little difference there.
All is right in the world. So Transcendences for both teams here. The Graviton, though, that's a huge difference. Lei Young has it locked and loaded.
Gotta be careful. Can't launch this one from downtown as Johnny's so good at eating up these ultimates.
You're a hungry boy. Okay, cheeky Evil Tail. Contesting for the time being. Haksal had to shield bash to stay on the point. Nice bit of tech we're seeing from Brigitte players on this map, especially recently. Amon probably going to go drop down and then cause some problems to Twilight in that side room. Oh, over the edge, Elsa! That wasn't his plan, surely! Again, Amon will be trapped inside the small room, maybe hoping to boop someone off the map, but Chengdu just had to leave that one. Hoping for much more with a self-destruct, I'm sure.
Yeah, and it goes off the side. Literally nothing with that is. Hunter's one fight away from potentially taking this first point. Bumper goes over to Reinhardt. So you have two big support ultimates online here for the Hunters. You got a Graviton Surge. This has to be a good grab from Late Young.
Sominsu not too far away from his next one. It really depends how the start of this fight goes and how charged up he is, which I'd say relatively. Power Driver in the backside. That's to pressure Twilight down. You notice that Twilight actually has a bit of armor from that recent rally. That's now decayed. But it definitely helped with his durability at the moment.
Fight's taking long to develop.
Yeah, look, Haksal now has to deal with Amon entirely. He has to go one for one.
The Hunters, so they're putting this in a position, though, Mitch, where it's a one-fight territory for
either team. Are they waiting for a minefield or something like that? They've got both their support ultimates.
Minefield, the combo with the grab, maybe?
Lei Young's in trouble, has to back away. Oh, Johnny would have been chasing down that kill, but he gets stunned briefly, and that's enough time for Kyo to get the Transcendence in place. Still, Jinmu gets pinned. Oh no, he's gone down the drink. Amon, you will be missed. It's like a skill tester gone wrong. Great boop, I have to say, from Slime, and that might lock this one up for the Vancouver Titans now. Lei Young has fallen. Kyo's getting very staggered out. Elsa has to back out and try and do something, but Bumper, well, you know he likes to charge forward. He's no coward. Evil Tail taken down while he tries to stall the point. Amon returns, wanting to harass Twilight, but there's bigger fish to fry, like keeping his team in the round. In the backside, you saw the Bumper hit the shadow. Jinmu was able to pick himself back up, but it's going to be too little, too late here for the Chengdu Hunters. They had it at the palm of their hands, but Vancouver will take this first round.
It was a lack of aggression from the Hunters here. They just took way too much time.
Isn't that an oxymoron?
Yeah, they're the team that plays aggressive all the time.
All the time
They
to
just
choose
wait.
to be contrarian. Chengdu is now. It's not over yet, mind you, but...
Well, they would have given themselves probably at least one more. If they would have went earlier, they probably would have given themselves at least another fight, like a decent fight. Not one that's kind of like, you know, patched together. But they waited so long. They had to be waiting to combo like Minefield plus the grab because they had no self-destruct because Elsa just kind of tosses it into the pit. But even then, I mean, you're allowing the other team to build up towards their trance, build up towards Graviton Surge at that point. This is interesting.
Tense times.
What? 3-3 Reinhardt on both sides. So the Hunters want to try and make this work yet again here.
Ooh.
They've been successful with it thus far.
Will Chengdu be punished for betraying their true nature right at the last moment? Jinmu gets caught. Yeah, never getting out of that one.
Well, they
Amon
got
as
Bumper,
well.
though. They got Bumper.
Amon is sort of in boot behind enemy lines here. And a 2-for-1 trade puts the Titans a player ahead.
Yeah.
Late Young, ooh, bit of dance. Bit of Doc Dodge and Dive, I feel that.
So the point will go in favor of Vancouver and Bumper. He gets displaced a little bit there. Gets picked off, but he did build up a lot of ultimate charge there.
Hunter's now approaching the left side. The Titans now just playing on either side of this little choke here. Anyone gets a bubble when he pushes up, so it's hard to punish him. Bubble was hoping to do something. Earth Shatter. Connection, not quite there. Although that's never enough to really damper Bumper's spirits. He's always looking for another chance to engage, and he's found it. Amon down early. Transcendence. Kyo after the fact. The Hunters had to find something with this now, but they choose to back away, and yeah, you're over the edge. Kyo just elects to jump off.
I think this is where you see the experience of the Vancouver Titans start to pay off. Been in big matches before, right? Game 5s, and the Hunters never been in this type of position where you take one of the best teams in the league to Game 5. You have the game so close.
I mean, the wheels feel like
kind
they've
of slips away.
Yeah, feels like the wheels are falling off the safari bus, man. That Transcendence, they really needed that fight. Chengdu, this one's getting further and further away from them, and that Shatter does not yield fruit from Amon.
Now they're just throwing ultimates in, it feels.
Now, Twilight's Transcendence won't affect everyone because he's behind the pillar. Sominsu goes down. He wasn't getting healed from that, and he had a Discord Orb on him. That's a great start. With Bumper, Wild Charge, gives himself up here, and the Titans want to end this fight as quickly as possible, save their ultimates, come back. So that's the tech I like. I do like noticing when we see Zarya players look to try and grab against, obstacles like the corners of walls or of pillars, because they know the Transcendence and the Zenyatta caught in there won't necessarily be able to heal everyone else in the grab because line of sight is cut off.
And how often do we see this? Sominsu right now, 14 limbs, 2 deaths, 1 final blow, but 6,400 damage. Late Young sitting at 8,700. 50 average energy for Late Young as opposed to 35 for Sominsu. Late Young
considerable lead, especially that the Titans won that previous round. So they're ahead overall. That's the stats from the whole map, not just the round. Self-destruct. Amon blocks it. Bumper goes for the shatter here. That is a big connection, but there was a Transcendence in play. He needs a charge. It's Bumper that gets it. That's what he had to find here. Large shatter, but it's a big Transcendence. Both teams responding well with the Zenyatas, but the Titans are just coming out on top. Self-destruct, it has to be big, but there was no one really to stop the shield. Slime does get taken down. Bumper couldn't really shepherd his entire team away from the blast.
Oh, they get a sound barrier here towards the end as well, the Hunters.
They're really committing to this fight, Matt. I don't know if they had to at all. Sominsu now, at least it forces him to throw a Graviton Surge that looks pretty average, and the Titans might just have to back away. What a messy fight.
This is a mess.
But that sound barrier keeps Chengdu in a fight.
And he uses it like basically flying back from the respawn, like bouncing off the walls as Lucio coming off the top.
Okay, looks like all of our theories about to go out of the window. Kyo gets picked up by Twilight. Huge opening. Here's a Graviton Surge into that corner. Late Young was looking for Twilight, but Slime goes down to the Fire Strike. Amon knocked out of the way. Transcendence being brought in for the Vancouver Titans. They had a chance to pick up Evil Tile there, but he just skitters away. Scurries back to safety. Elsa discording with no one to protect him, though. He's not going to last very long. But all this time, the Hunters have been accruing percentage. They're now up to 90, and they're still storing the point. Evil Tile being so annoying, finally going down, but it's 94 to 77.
Right, so yet again, one fight territory here for the Hunters. They have to win this fight. They lose it. Vancouver takes the series here. Bumper with a shatter. Can he redeem himself, right? We've seen these amazing shatters from Amon.
One fight to rule them all, at least in this matchup. 94 to 94. It's time for the Hunters to stand up. Amon's knocked down, so is Evil Tile. Immediately the Transcendence brought in, and Bumper can't get a charge to burst anyone down through that healing ultimate. Janu sets the self-destruct in now, paired with a Graviton Surge. They find Amon. That's the first important pick. Sound barrier now coming out for the Vancouver Titans. It's time to switch in their 5th gear for them. They will not be denied their victory. Pushing forward now, Graviton Surge from the Hunters. They're looking very haggard. Evil Tile goes down. Oh no! Lei Young gets in there with a quick double. This could be the turnaround they were looking for. Twilight gets in there with a Transcendence now, trying to keep Janu up. Lei Young is low. He was so charged. He was looking so good. But the Titans swing it back in their favor. They push down Lei Young. Elsa managed to find a kill, but Amon's returned to the point.
Got no mech.
This is insane. The Reinhardt's back, but Janu's going to push in his face. No respect whatsoever. Sound barrier now for the Chengdu Hunters, but only 2 players benefit from that. Elsa was there. It's not enough. The Hunters come so close, but are rebuffed by a very relieved-looking Vancouver Titans spot who remain undefeated. But the Hunters made them work for every inch. But we do have a true apex predator here.
What a game between these two teams. Back and forth from start to finish. The Hunters are so close to sealing this game 5. They lose the first round so close. One fight back and forth between these teams. But Vancouver remains undefeated, taking out the Hunters.
What a wild matchup.
Oh.
What? Today has just been insane. Everyone wondered, but it was more of a whisper. Everyone's like, maybe, just on the off chance, perhaps a team with this wacky playstyle like Chengdu can actually throw the Titans for a loop. We said, is this a trap game for Vancouver? Turns out that was much closer to the truth than we actually realized.
And the Hunters did this running a decent amount of triple tank, triple support, which I think probably surprises a lot of people out there. You know,
I mean, it's
the
been an
damage
emotional
dealing
ride.
Talked about it, yeah. You see the emotions flowing here, but you know, that's I think my biggest takeaway from this one is that the Hunters kept this close, running a decent amount of triple tank, triple support. I think, you know, if you ran it with a lot of the DPS comps, not really too surprising, you know, with a crazy game, but it's wild the way the Hunters did it today.
And that's a very good sign for the future of the Hunters. But for now, unfortunately, they will be eliminated from the Stage 1 playoff race. They'll still have one more game to gift us with some incredible Overwatch. But now that locks in our Pacific Division champion. It is going to be the Titans. The Defiant also there, of course. They've clinched that playoff. And the Excelsior, the other team, having secured that one. There are your standings. There are not many teams left now in the run. See the Uprising Dynasty very close there to that cutoff.
Hey, you get that 1 or 2 seed. Yeah, you got your prize there is a shock or charge matchup in round 1. Who wants a piece of any of those teams, man? Is the shock. I think they're the team that I look at where, you know, let's say stage 1 ends, you could see them taking it all from a bottom seed like that. But we got the HP Omen player of the match coming up. And it's no other than Janu from the Vancouver Titans. I thought he was tremendous on D.Va all game long, the real difference maker.
I think Twilight definitely deserves a mention there as well, but Janu was huge. This moment was important. The final moments on Nepal were also very crucial. He was right there. A lot of gravitons being eaten. That one there was so critical. Titans had to win that map. That E pretty much kept them in the game as we sort of knew it. He's bringing this incredible consistency and not just excellence, but continually showing these performances. 4 ultimates negated over the course of this series. A lot of those self-destruct kills, but again, he's staying alive. This eliminations to deaths matchup is ridiculous.
Now, the ultimates negated is huge. 4 throughout the series, most likely all graviton surges. Now, the eliminations 131 pretty high. It's the deaths, I agree with you, that really stands out to me. Only 13 throughout a 5-map series. Very strong performance.
Vol deserved from Janu, and again, we still get to see a bit more of the Titans. And we'll definitely see them as we head into the playoffs. This team is well positioned now, and I cannot wait to see the culmination of Stage 1. Today, what an absolute rip snorter of a day. We saw some incredible matches. The Shanghai Dragons getting that big W there. We had ups, we had downs, we had cheers. We even had some tears in that front row from myself and Mr. Matt Morello. It's been a pleasure. Stay tuned. We'll be back after the break with Watchpoint and special guest Bumper. See you later.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile. High ground or low ground, T-Mobile has you covered. And by State Farm. Whatever life brings your way, State Farm is here to help life go right.
Good evening and welcome to another edition of the Watchpoint Post Show. We are live from the Blizzard Arena in Los Angeles. I'm your host, Chris Puckett, at the desk, and I got a great crew with me all day long. We got Zoe, we've got Bren, we brought the bearded one.
The bearded one?
From the casting
Yeah.
booth, all the way down here, once again.
What?
What are you saying?
How you doing,
What
man?
do you mean? I was
What you
just
saying?
talking about that match for a while. That match was crazy.
That
I
match
can't
was
believe what I was
crazy.
just
Let's
witnessing.
just do 45 minutes on that.
We're going
down.
to talk a lot about it, but first I got to ask you, Matt, we do this every single show.
Yeah.
What did you learn today, Sunday, the close of week 4?
I learned the hunters are for real, man. I don't know what I originally said when I was going to talk about this, but man, after that one, I got to change it up. The hunters, they played Vancouver extremely tough, and I think the surprising thing for me is the amount of triple tank, triple support they played during that, and it looked really good. So I think the hunters are for real. I don't think it's their stage. Obviously not going to make the playoffs, but I think they'll be a problem deeper in the season.
Keep your eyes on this team in the future. Let's go to Brenji next. What did you learn, young Bren?
I'm exasperated, is what I am. Like, this game was just unreal, man. Seriously, if Bumper is a Giga Chad, then Eamon is like a Tanner, honestly. He's stealing his lunch money, like on a regular basis. I didn't know he had the Reinhardt in him. Like, he was hitting
No one
shatters
did.
like nobody's business. I couldn't believe what I was witnessing that entire match. It was just absurd. It was, where has he been this entire time? I don't understand. He's like, he
Playing
evolved
wrecking
during this
ball.
match. It was just ridiculous. I can't believe what I've witnessed from that
All right,
game.
so you guys have short-term memories. You just learned this game. So anything other than the game we just saw that you learned?
Already, I have to say something. Well, everything they said, and then I also learned that sometimes Bren actually picks the right teams.
Wow.
There you go.
Yeah, you know
Incredible
that
stuff.
Shanghai pick that does, work sometimes.
My original point was going to be, never disrespect the Dragons. Don't put disrespect on the Dragons.
I got it for you. Don't
Yeah.
worry
But
about it.
after that match, I think we just
How many
really
times has he
underrated.
picked the
Bren,
Dragons?
you got it, what,
Bunch of
3
fights.
out of 45 attempts? You're looking good. All right,
got
let's
it
keep
now.
the show moving. A little bit later on, we got Bumper joining us from the Vancouver Titans. He's going to be right here on the desk. You definitely don't want to miss that. But before he sits down right here, Bumper had a match to play earlier today. These two can't stop talking about it, so let's look at some of the highlights. We came into halftime with a tied score, went to Anubis, and this was the Hunter surprising everyone, taking the lead over the Vancouver Titans.
Yeah, this was just absolutely bonkers. Honestly, like, they fell into the hamster trap. They went for that Ammon, like, time and time again.
Yep.
And we were all like, but why don't you buy in completely to the Fiesta? Like,
This is it.
At least go full.
I
But
didn't
you
really.
can't just play Genji there. That's not working.
The moment where I was like, why have they half bought into the Clown Fiesta? Like,
Genji with the Brigitte.
the Genji with the Brigitte. I was looking at this, I was like, what is happening in this match?
Axel's like, I just want to play Genji, man.
If I would have told you at the beginning of the day that Hunters would have played, let's say, call it, 50% triple tank, triple support against Vancouver, what would you have thought the overall series score would have been?
4-0.
Yeah,
In
absolutely.
favor of Vancouver.
Instantly.
Yeah.
Like,
Quick.
this is
Easy.
the fact that they got taken to game 5. This is just an absurd upset that words don't describe. This should have been a 4
But
overtime.
they still lost.
Now, what did you guys
I
think
don't
of
care, mate.
Still.
It's like a win in
Can I
my book.
ask you specifically about Bacon Jack? I feel like we saw all kinds of Bacon Jack on the stage today. They kept him in for Route 66.
That was my one thing going into Game 5. Like, they were rolling with Bacon Jack.
Why take him out?
And Lei Young
It's
played good in
working.
Game 5. I mean,
Yes.
Lei Young was
He
playing real
almost
strong.
clutched it at
He
the end of
almost
that
clutched
round.
it. But you were rolling with Bacon
Yeah,
Jack.
yeah.
He was playing good.
And he was playing all sorts of different heroes. Like, that's the most versatile Bacon I've ever seen in my entire life.
It's like multinational bacon. Isn't it?
Crispy
I know, right? It's
and
like all
chewy
the
at the
good
same
things.
time. It's incredible. Let's talk about this Game 5, though, because this is where it was decided in favor of the Vancouver Titans as they stay perfect.
This
Oh
was
my
a...
God, that was tragic.
There's so many
True.
ultimates into that pit.
I'm up there in the caster booth. I'm just shaking my head. And then they did it again to me here on this one.
But here's the thing, right? Here's the scenario. They don't sub out Bacon Jack here. They keep
But
playing.
look at Lei Young. He's popping off.
But they keep playing the damage dealer comps that Vancouver couldn't deal with. What if, man, on that map 5?
Vancouver couldn't really deal with the 3-3 as well.
This
I
was
love it. This
absurd.
was one of the best series we have seen in the Overwatch League. Definitely one of the best performances from the Chengdu Hunters, who are quickly
I love it.
becoming the favorites here amongst the analysts, especially for their social media presence.
Yeah, I mean, we did say that they have nothing to surprise us with. It might actually have been me saying that. But, I was wrong, Hunters. You did have that goat up in your sleeve.
Who drew
They're
that goat?
coming at
That's
all.
incredible.
before this game, that is a completely factual sentence. Like there was nothing wrong with saying that in the slightest.
Thank you.
No.
Thank
And they
you.
just
That
then
makes
they
it feel
pull out
better.
this triple tank, triple support. I cannot stress enough how ridiculous that is. That they went toe to toe with Vancouver Titans.
It was so fun to watch. I think we are all looking forward to see what Chengdu is going to bring into future stages. Unfortunately, with that loss, their playoff hopes will die here in stage one. Vancouver is one of two teams to still stay unbeaten at the top of our leaderboard and will be looking to be in our top 8 at the end of the day. Another set of teams looking to get into that top 8 were the Paris Eternal when they matched up against the San Francisco Shock earlier in the day. And this one meant a lot for both squads. You had to think those Shock had more pressure. This was their 7th and final match here in stage 1.
I tell you what, I think, the Shock, they get to the playoffs and they kind of sneak in as a 7 or 8. What would you call them? Like a snaky team, right?
A snaky team, yeah.
Nothing with a snaky team.
Oh, yeah.
They're a snake you don't want to see in that first round, right? I mean, if you're Vancouver or NYXL, the Shock have played you close twice.
Yeah.
I
No,
mean,
you're right.
for either team, right? So, and now you get a little bit more time to prep coming into it. I think
Your
the Shock
game
could be a
tape.
problem.
Exactly. Yeah, this is going to be problematic now, I think, for the top teams, Vancouver Titans and New York Excel coming into this. Like, Shock, this match was honestly actually a better showing from Paris as well. I don't want to discredit them too much because we saw improvements from them actually across the board. But the difference maker, it comes to it again, it's the thing that we pointed out, it's the Zarya play. Big discrepancies between it. And we saw Sinatra really just absolutely going ham on the Zarya.
20,000 damage on Hollywood alone.
He does it casually. I mean,
Yeah, that's actually true. He makes it look so very easy.
I want to say too, a player I've been pretty impressed with Paris lately. Watching them, casting one of the games the other day. I thought Ben Best has been playing really well.
Way better than anyone expected, I think.
Yeah,
After
I think
watching
he's
him in the
solid.
World Cup, he has stepped his game up. So when you were watching these games play out, though, we saw Shock coming into Horizon. Did you think Paris was going to battle back in the second half, or was this Shock's all the way?
I mean, I honestly thought it's going to be Shock all the way. I did feel like the first map was very scrappy, got a little bit better on the second one. Paris Eternal, I felt like their support ults were still just not very on. I felt like there were a lot of wasted transcendences. I did like all the grab and bomb combos they were playing. Like Finzi, again, he really, really stood out, but I didn't think it would get any closer.